Hello, welcome to Cyber City Productions. This is an audio recording of Who Said Family is Blood by Enderkitty and Cybergeist. Read by Cybergeist. This is Chapter 2. Please don't kill me.
Let go of my wing, you stupid mutation of a spleen!
Tubbo struggled as much as he could against the stupid Dreamin's hold, but because of his admittedly small size, he's not really able to put up much of a fight. That, and they have a painful hold on his translucent wings. He kicks, pulls, and pushes as much as he can, but really, he's just tiring himself out as they continue to drag him and Rambo off to what he assumes are the cells. He's made no progress whatsoever, and neither has Rambo. Rambo had been screeching earlier and tried widening his mouth to bite them, but 3 of them had quickly wrestled a muzzle on him and tied his freakishly long arms behind his back. Every time Rambo twitched too much in any of their directions, he was roughly poked and shoved back into forced submission. Tubbo buzzes angrily at them.
You can't keep us here forever. The second I break out, I'm crashing this whole ship, and then I'm going to...
He was roughly gagged with a foul-tasting cloth before he could continue. He tried using his hands to pry the disgusting thing from his mouth, but 2 of them had grabbed his arms and legs and were binding them together to prevent further movement. "Do we put him in one of the cells?" one of the guards asked the other. A different guard shook her head. "No, we only wanted the Enderian. The Anthropadre is just extra waste. Chuck it in the human cell. Should get rid of the insect." Tubbo froze. "A human? They have a human! How in the galaxy did they get a human? Humans are way up there in the danger breaks of Death Worlders. Even among other Death Worlders like Enderians or Archaea, they are beasts to be reckoned with. Destructive, vicious, stubborn, and very adaptive. There was so much more he can add to that terrifying list, but he kind of wants to focus on the things that the Dreamins had mentioned just now. They were going to chuck him in with a human? He panicked. Energy comes back thrice as strong as before, and he thrashes to the best of his very limited abilities. He writhes with a hardened determination to not get ripped to shreds. Please and thank you. Rambo also resumes his shrieking and tries escaping the Dreamin's hold. 2 of the guards hold firmly on Rambo, while the one holding Tubbo wraps one of his long, oddly jointed fingers around his throat and squeezes. Tubbo wants to keep fighting, but the sheer power in that one finger, as it wraps all the way around his throat, prevents him from struggling much more lest he break his neck. He stops squirming, and the guard stops squeezing. He coughs into the rag and glares at the one holding him the best he can while being held at such an awkward angle. The Dreamin male ignores him and forces Tubbo forward down another hall and around a corner into a new cell block. Rambo's guards are dragging him behind Tubbo's guards. The Dreamin abruptly stops, which makes Tubbo stumble, and the guard is already opening a cell door before he can recover his balance fully. Tubbo comes to the abrupt, horrifying realization that this is their destination. This must be the human cell. He peers inside and sees that the room is pretty empty and barren, like a cell. He sees spore flowers at the very top, like every other cell they've passed by. Luckily, or maybe unluckily, his species were known to be resistant to the effects of the hanging flowers, even munching on them occasionally. Then he sees a nest of ragged blankets with a lump underneath them, and he quickly realizes that the lump is breathing. Then the lump shifts, twitching ever so slightly in the direction of the door. Crap! Maybe humans aren't resistant to the spore flowers. Maybe they'll stay knocked out. A lot of Death Worlders can't resist them. Heck, Rambo can't resist them despite his usual high tolerance for toxins. Yeah, surely humans aren't that adaptive or resistant. He knows they eat poisons and stuff, but maybe they're sleeping and won't eat him. Yeah, what are the chances that the human is resistant to this specific kind of toxin? He might just make it out of this nightmare situation alive. This is good. Great, even. The lump shifts upwards. Crap. His guard had noticed it moving and frantically tossed him into the cell. The man panicked as he spams the close button, desperately trying to close Tubbo in with the stirring Death Worlder, who apparently is resistant to this kind of toxin. Why does the universe hate him? Like, really, the human just happens to be resistant to this kind of toxin. Fan-freaking-tastic. He hits the cold ground roughly, and he buzzes in pain. Oh, perfect! He had landed facing away from the human and toward the cell door that is now closing before his eyes with a rapid Tubbo! Before it closes all the way, he hears Rambo's shriek of panic and worry, muffled horribly by the muzzle that prevents him from dislocating his jaw and biting the Dreamin's Well, it was nice knowing his friend. He had a good run, and hey, at least his death would be interesting. How many people could claim they'd been killed by a human after all? Stars, he was terrified. This was going to hurt. Rambu's point of view. No! Dang it, he has to get in there. He has to protect Tubbo. Tubbo doesn't stand a chance against a human, especially tied up. If he wasn't tied up, he might be able to sting them and poison them, but his venom, without it, he's vulnerable. So small and delicate, easily snapped into pieces. He shrieks, cries, and howls. Anything he can do to try and get loose from these foul, dreaming guards. He almost succeeds, too, before they open a cell directly across from the humans and shove him in quickly before shutting the cell door tight. Then they darken the windows so that he can't see out of them, so he can't make eye contact, so that he can't fully descend into a battle frenzy. He tries quickly to get up, but he's almost immediately falls to the floor. The spore flowers rapidly begin doing their work as the toxins in the spores begin to invade his bloodstream and force his body to release the chemical that makes him sleep. He fights it for as long as he can, looking up to see Tubbo and the human in the cell as the last of the glass begins to fade to black. His own vision is failing him, but the last thing he sees is the human cautiously walking towards Tubbo's small body. Vulnerable and tied up, it sparks a deep rage inside Rambu. But even that spark quickly dies down, and before he knows it, his eyes are closing and the window is almost entirely black now. As his eyes drift shut, he watches as the human reaches out a hand slowly toward Tubbo's side. As the darkness fills his vision, his last thought is, I hope there's at least enough left to bury. And then all he knows is darkness. Tubbo's point of view. Crap! What does he do? He's tied up, faced away from the human with his wings exposed and cold. This is it for him, isn't it? He's going to be torn apart and eaten, or maybe it won't eat him, but he'll definitely won't be surviving this encounter. Maybe he should play dead. Will it bother him if he's dead? He hears soft footsteps. He starts trembling. His wings make a soft buzzing noise. Oh, stars, he doesn't want to die. He squirms a little, hoping the ropes will loosen enough for him to at least fight his inevitable doom. No such luck. The footsteps get slightly closer, slow and steady, like a predator creeping up on an unsuspecting prey. Maybe not completely like that, but his brain isn't helping his panic in the slightest. He trembles more and more as the human gets closer. He can practically feel the heat from how close the human is to his back. He quickly shuts his eyes and can only pray that his death is quick, that it won't play with him like some predators are known to do. He feels something warm touch his side, and he flinches hard. The hand retreats instantly. A couple of tense seconds go by, and it's back. Very hesitant, but gentle. Warm. He feels the lightest of touches on his wings. The wing flings itself away from the touch, trembling, and continues making the light buzzing sound it does when he's panicked. Then he feels a soft tug on the ropes. Slowly he opens his eyes, taking a peek at the human that is now in front of him. It's scrawny looking, long skinny arms, golden fur, and a neck-length halo atop its head. He opens his eyes wider and begins to take in the human's appearance more fully. The human cocks his head, his own eyes scanning Tubbo's body, as if it's curious. The human, feeling eyes on it, makes direct eye contact with Tubbo, and Tubbo holds his breath and freezes in place, terrified that the slightest movement will make the human lash out. It has eerie blue eyes that are slightly fogged over, almost like there's a film across their surface. They're a cold blue that reminds Tubbo of the watery depths of that one ocean planet he had once visited with Wilbur. Despite this, though, he can tell that those eyes are tracking his every movement. The human's gaze is intense, and for a moment they glint sharply, the hazy film fading ever so slightly as it makes contact. It barks something at him, and though it's not a terribly loud or cruel sound, it makes him flinch. The human speaks again, softer, making gestures at him, or more accurately at the ropes. It makes a move to touch him, and he lets out a pathetic hum of fear, breathing quite heavily from holding his breath for so long. It stops, then slowly reaches out again. Not like Tubbo could stop the human. He expects pain, a sharp tug, maybe even a scratch, but instead he feels the rope loosen. Slowly but surely, the human starts untying the ropes, keeping Tubbo in place. Tubbo opens his mouth and voices his thoughts. Excuse me, what? Despite his confusion, after a couple more seconds, with the occasional tug here and there, and some mumblings in a weird human language, the ropes are off. He goes to remove the gag on him, but the human beats him to it, and he tries hard not to instinctively sting the human then and there as it gently pulls the gag out of his mouth. And now he's free from rope, and face to face with a human that he desperately wants to scramble and fly away from, which he would do right now if it didn't mean possibly setting the human off. Stars, what had he gotten himself into? Thank you for listening to Chapter 2 of Who Said Family is Blood. Join us next time for Chapter 3. This video was edited by Orion. Please give them a lot of love in the comments. The art was from the Discord server. If you would like to submit art for chapters, please post your link in the comments below or post it on our Discord server. We also would love it if you would like, comment, and subscribe. Have a good day.